Peace, gratitude, and highest heart love. Welcome to your YouTube reading of The Healing Power of Water by Masaru Emoto. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel NEVEU. So we pick up in chapter 2. Welcome you all for being here. This is a great day. We're doing the work. Chapter 2. The structure of liquid water, its relevance to homeopathy, ultradilute souls, or colloids, and imprinted waters. By Rustum Roy. Abstract. Water is the single most important material for the existence and support of human life and health. It has been almost totally neglected by post-World War II biochemical medicine, in spite of the latter's incredibly generous research budgets. The signal failure of such research, as demonstrated daily in its outcome statistics and the U.S. healthcare system's uninviolable track record as the leading vector of death among all illnesses, is in no small measure due to the peculiar short-sighted focus on organic biochemistry, which has no place in the study of the role of water in human health. This unique relationship, water, and health, has been emphasized in many concrete and symbolic ways in virtually every ancient tradition. The scientific study of water has been carried out so far by the chemistry community, with an approach emphasizing the molecular level of structure. According to a recent major review, physicists and materials scientists find whatever to exist in a nearly infinite set of structures, which are uniquely liable and changeable among themselves. Peace. Thank you for being here. Highest heart love. We are reading The Healing Power of Water by Masaru Emoto. The core argument of this paper is that the materials science literature establishes that common, highly covalent liquids, including water, exist in many very different structures, even thermodynamically stable ones. The paper establishes the plausibility of causing structural changes in water, imprinting it, so to speak, by many common vectors, which include not only temperature and pressure, but also epitaxy, succussing, electric and magnetic fields, and the like. The human intention. Possibly human intention. That's a major key right there. Among these are 3 specific vectors used in the preparation of homeopathic remedies. 1. Epitaxy, a phenomenon very little known even by scientists, but used daily worldwide in materials technologies, which involves the transference of structural information, not any composition whatsoever, from one solid or liquid to a liquid. 2. Succussing, which can generate substantial pressures that are known to change the structure of similar liquids. 3. The creation of nanobubbles, which would be distributed as in a colloid, like milk, and definitely change the structure. This argument demolishes the 150-year-old argument used against homeopathy, that since the compositional dilution is beyond the Avogadro limit and has excluded any of the original molecules of the additives. There can be no difference between the succussed remedy and the original water. Water can be changed in structure without any change in composition. Very key. Thank you. Welcome all for being here with us, reading this wonderful book by Masaru Emoto, The Healing Power of Water. Thank you. Peace, peace. Introduction. The entire field of water structure research by scientists, so far conducted essentially only by chemists, has focused largely on its composition, and within that, the composition and structure of molecules or small oligomers, and often not even on liquid water at all. There has been almost no state of the art research on the 3D structure or arrangement of the units in space. This has resulted in a neglect of the most directly connected science of inorganic materials and physics. In addition, of course, insofar as the structure of water relates to human health, it has also led to the total exclusion of the human mind and spirit, an absolute part of the reality of the whole person. A new and comprehensive view of the structure of water from the materials science perspective was published only in December 2005 by Roy Bell, Tiller, and Hoover. RBTH. This paper is the major source of data for this essay and contains dozens of useful references to which the reader is referred. This essay attempts to point out the links, in less technical terms than the paper, to various procedures or interventions involving water in whole person healing. It does not provide any research or data to validate any particular approach or healing procedure related to water. How this reductionist science fits into the holist perspective of this book. This book is concerned with a vast range of observations on healing by various procedures, agencies, practices, and so on, especially those involving water. Regrettably, in an era dominated by fundamentalism, defined very accurately simply as the conviction that only my way leads to truth, some in the scientific community have taken on the coloration of the religious fundamentalists, whom they vigorously oppose. But science is the very antithesis of a guarantee of the permanent truth of our current views. Its accurate motto is, of course, that taken from the Protestant Reformation, semper reformanda, always changing. As scientists, we know that our truth may always be improved upon or incorporated into a larger truth with some new discovery. Indeed, every top flight scientist hopes to achieve exactly that, to replace or improve a major paradigm by their new insights. Let me start by citing my own experience to show how pervasive within communities of science, much closer to the heartland of real science than statistical medicine. This proto fundamentalism is is in the late 1940s, my department head in geosciences at Penn State warned me not to be misled by the American geological establishment. This entire body, he warned me, had rejected Alfred Wegener's nearly 20-year-old proposal of continental drift. With all the fervor of Southern preachers, the gurus of American geoscience derided Wegener's view as absurd. Yet slowly but surely, over a decade or two, their views were totally washed away by the tidal wave of more and more facts. Without any fanfare or public mea culpa, one certainly correct theory was abandoned and another was installed. Scientific truth changes, and true scientists worldwide celebrate its ability to do so. Peace, guys. Thank you so much. Awesome. Highest heart love. Yes, it's the sacred day. Give thanks. That's right. That's right. It's the Sabbath. Here is another example. Within the next decade, the controversy was all about the volcanoes on the moon. When my graduate student, Frank DeChilli, wrote a rather simple, rambling book, Target Earth, proposing that the moon was actually pockmarked not by volcanoes, but by craters caused by meteor impact. I was advised by leaders of the nation's major geological professional society to dismiss him from the university. Such a believer in the absurd, they advised me, should not be allowed to get a degree, even though his research with me was totally unrelated to the moon. 10 years later, meteorite impacts on both Moon and Earth were a very hot research topic of, yes, the very same orthodox scientists. Sick transit. One community within science and organic chemistry has monopolized the study of the structure of water. The biomolecular medical establishment has paid no attention to it. Hence, essentially zero scientific work has been done on healing and water by the conventional medical establishment. On the other hand, those intimately involved with human beings in healing, such as Florence Nightingale with her insistence on cleanliness and washing, and Hangman and his nearly pure water remedies have had profound effects on large populations, even on the medical establishment in the case of Nightingale. Today, it's finally possible to review more objectively the question of the efficacy of various water based healing vectors suggested by traditional practices. In my 60 years of work at the cutting edge of material science, I've always worked with one common approach: find the most interesting observations, wild facts, as William James called them, or useful truths, in the words of Ben Franklin. See the bibliography, which are unexplainable by current theories and hence spurned by almost all scientists. Go after those areas. I did, and I ran across several key data that had this in common. They were all involved with water. Peace, guys. Oh, I love you. Thank you, Jamie. Oh, much love. Thank you so much for the love. I love y'all too. I'll start here with the most provable data. Testable by normal medical procedures, the extraordinary antibacterial and antiviral effects obtained with ultradilute metallic sols, or colloids, especially of silver. A sol is merely a permanent suspension, just like, say, milk, or very fine particles of a different solid or liquid. For anyone advocating the possibility of producing profound health effects with essentially pure water, the easy demonstration of such effects is the use of such a silver sol or colloid, easily found in any health food store, made up of roughly 1 ppm or 1 part per million atomic concentration of metallic particles in the 10 millimeter range. Oh, nanometer range. This is the best proof of existence theorem for attention focusing by the less informed. In any assemblage of peach tree dishes containing the usual range of test bacteria. The antibacterial effects of these ultra-dilute sols can be demonstrated in minutes and compare favorably with the best antibiotics. How can essentially pure water do this? Thank you all. Welcome. Thank you for reading with us. There it is. The Healing Power of Water by Masaru Emoto. And we're doing it. Happy Saturday, guys. Welcome. The range of these effects has been and is being demonstrated worldwide, most relevantly these days in the battlefields of Iraq and Afghanistan. This remarkable fact is never reported in the mass media. Most startling to this author is the connection of this water and silver and electric current to some of the most significant medical issues today. The regeneration of human limbs, fingertips, as demonstrated by Becker and Flick many years ago. If a sol of silver at a 1 part per million concentration can do this, can the structure of a different spa waters enhance their health effects be different because of the influence of the structurally different suspended particulate colloidal mineral matter? Can radiation, whether electric fields from megavolt overhead wires or microwave magnetic fields, change and even leave an imprint on water? Detailed scientific papers from Japan present data on just such possibilities. In contrast with the multi-trillion dollar sales power of the pharmaceutical industry and a 30 billion annual research budget for national institutes of health alone, however, the research in this area receives essentially zero funding. It will be seen in the RBTH paper that there is no doubt whatsoever that water near our ambient conditions has several different structures. By far, the biggest of the scientific issues remaining concerns the kinetics of change of one such structure or large cluster to another. Welcome all. Thank you so much for being here. We are reading Masaru Emoto now. We just climbed up, keep going up, right? Thermodynamics and water and metaphysics, sacred geometry, the absolute importance of structure. This book is about the relation of water to human healing. Water is the largest component of the human body. But what is it about this liquid that can make it a healing vector? First, of course, water, being the amazing solvent that it is because of its extraordinarily high dielectric constant, does take into solution a great deal of other materials that come into contact with it. This fact has tended to emphasize the emphasize the composition, the purity, if you will, of the water as its most important descriptor. That's the problem. Composition, especially slight changes of it, is rarely important in altering the properties of liquid or solid. One reason is that all such variations are incremental, continuous, and slight. But changes in structure can be dramatic. One example will do to make my point. The element carbon exists in many solid forms, including graphite and diamond, meaning that the nearly softest and hardest so far materials on the planet have an identical composition. Here we have exactly the same composition of matter, easily transformed from one structure in milliseconds to the other, with the incredible difference in properties. So, if you're interested in water, you'll have to pay attention to its structure. The paper and this essay start by distinguishing the way materials scientists and chemists define the term structure. Thank you all for being here. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Much love. Yes, we are reading big time book right here. Just like if you keep going back down, you'll see on my page, this is the corner of YouTube for high level books so that you can go out into the world and know and not guess, right? That's how I live in the knowing. That's why I can heal so many people because I know I'm not guessing. Essentially, all previous literature on water structure has been dominated by chemists who equate the term with the identification of the molecular species present in the vapor, in the liquid, at its surface, or in some specific environment. Literally, dozens of such molecular species have been identified, calculated, or inferred. For hundreds of precise illustrations of proposed structures of the H2O molecule and the assumed dimers, trimers, and tetramers, and on. The gold standard of references is the website maintained by Professor Martin Chaplin in London. See bibliography. Since nearly 100% of the literature deals with the size and shape of the building blocks of the condensed matter, liquid, what's studied very little is the materials scientists' approach to the structure of condensed matter, the arrangement of these building blocks in 3D space. The two views can be sharply distinguished by using this analogy. Consider the radical differences between the structure of the building blocks and the building itself. One doesn't describe the structure of Notre Dame or the Taj Mahal by saying that they consist of limestone, sandstone, or marble blocks, and giving details of the size and shape of these blocks. We know that the structure of these buildings is of the whole, not of the parts. Or consider the pieces or blocks in a Lego set equals molecules, the chemist approach, and the structure of the house or car or plane equals clusters that a child builds with the same blocks. This material science approach to the structure of liquid, any liquid, of course, is extremely difficult here simply because water is a liquid. That means that the units or building blocks do not repeat in any periodic manner in their 3D arrangement. This periodic arrangement state is the property of virtually all of Earth's inorganic matter, 99.99% of it. The units are crystalline, the aperiodic state, the non-crystalline state, also called imprecisely the glassy state, which is the common structure of all liquids, poses a nearly insuperable barrier to the main scientific tools for determining structure. All the diffraction methods, X-ray, electrons, neutrons, and water's low viscosity doesn't help. Of course, there are other techniques. spectroscopies of all kinds, but there are poor substitutes for diffraction. Also, there are enormous resources available by analogy from the extensive 100-year research on the structure of glasses and other liquid like phrases, especially those of SiO2, with its close similarity to H2O. The nearly ubiquitous structural heterogeneity in similar covalently bonded liquids, even of elements such as S, C, T, and the like, is also a major hint of the possibilities for variety of structures in water, however long they last. Very useful lessons can be learned about the structure of water from the enormous literature on SiO2, the silicate minerals, and glasses. These are slowly being rediscovered. The first major learning is the most common glasses are highly heterogeneous in structure, consisting of 5 to 50 nanomites clusters with different structures. Another little known example is the effect of pressure on liquid structures, such as the thoroughly studied SiO2 glass, which shows the change of properties and structures with pressure in SiO2 and related glasses. These data are largely from my own laboratories in the 1960s and 1970s, and the references are all in the Roy Bell Tiller Hoover 2005 paper. In the same vein, by the 1980s, the most experienced analyst of the structure of glasses had concluded that they nearly all exhibited a mixture of different structures at the few nanometer level. Most glasses, especially those containing SiO2, with its close similarity to H2O, therefore are nanoheterogeneous, consisting of islands of different structure. Glassy water exhibits a whole range of properties, very similar to glassy silicates. There is little reason, therefore, to doubt the liquid water carries at least some of the vestiges of this fundamental nanoheterogeneity. We're at the top of page 71, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm beautiful. That's so beautiful. Much love. Beautiful people do beautiful things, right? We learn that. We learn that. That's the crystallization that we're talking about. So, if you eat right, you take care of your body right, and you have beautiful things around you, it crystallizes in you. Universally beautiful. The key argument linking structure to health vectors. What's presented here simply points out the unchallenged fact that the criticism, nay, ridicule, heaped on homeopathy and structured water by chemists is, in fact, itself based on an egregious error caused by a simplistic understanding of the properties of liquids. The critic's argument is that in sum total, the only way to change the properties of water is to add some solute. It is assumed that water can only be changed by controlling the nature and concentration of the solute. This is, of course, sheer heresy to material scientists and known to be inaccurate by all informed scientists. The central principle of material science is that properties are determined largely by structure at every level, from nano to macro, and not composition, as described above and illustrated by the diamond graphite example. This phenomenon is true of virtually all solids, though not with such spectacular differences as diamond and graphite. Affecting structural change. Thank you. Welcome all for being here. Much love. Yes, we love our people. We love the melanated, and we're guiding them forward, right? The highly melanated, we are the highest level beings on this planet. Yeah, period. Because we have high levels of melanin. Yeah, we don't have recessive traits. We have dominant traits. Recessive traits is blonde hair, blue eyes. And it's not a knock on them, it's just recessive. They get sick easier, you know, they have thin skin, so on and so forth. Affecting structural change. We have thus disposed of the 200-year-old mistaken argument. It remains only to establish that even in H2O, it's possible and plausible that such structural changes can be affected. That's what the Roy Bell Tiller Hoover paper attempts. It makes no contribution at all to whether or not homeopathic or ultradilute soul remedies work in the clinic or not. Three well-known phenomena in materials research are utilized to demonstrate the plausibility of structural change in water. 1. Epitaxy. 2. Pressure. And 3. Nanobubbles. Epitaxy, at the bottom of page 71. A key insight from common experience in material science that may be relevant to understanding the structure of water and what can affect it easily is epitaxy. This term doesn't appear even in most technical dictionaries, but the phenomenon is very well known, studied, and used in dozens of everyday technologies in material science. Yet, besides the plausible differences in nanostructure, it has never been invoked directly in the literature on the various healing traditions, including homeopathy, or in the use of different healing spas, which may have waters with suspended, not in solution, mineral matter. Epitaxy is the transmission of structural information from the surface, hence epi, you know, the prefix, of one material, usually a solid, to another, usually a liquid. Sub Subtleties of terminology appear in various papers, but it's the template of the structure, that is, the information that's definitely transferred. Recent examples of the subtleties of information that can be so transferred can be found in the literature cited at the end of this essay. No matter is transferred in this imprinting. Hence, the traditional hackneyed criticism of homeopathy, the discussions of concentrations of solutes above or below Avogadro's limit, are totally irrelevant. By providing a specific structure as a template, usually solid but sometimes liquid, one can induce an entire body of liquid to precipitate or crystallize in the pre-selected structure or morphology. The seeding of clouds is caused by epitaxial growth or crystalline ice or water on a substrate of AGI, which has the same crystal structure. Seeding and epitaxial growth of semiconductors are universally practiced in major modern technology. Information and memory are transmitted from the seed or substrate to the liquid phase, which can completely control the structure of what's formed from it. No chemical transfer whatsoever occurs. In homeopathy, a specific active agent is added to the liquid water or water plus ethanol. The relevant question is, in what ways can the active agent change, affect, or imprint the liquid? Those unfamiliar with material science assume that it is only by its presence in solution as atoms, ions, or molecules that an active agent can affect a liquid. They are wrong. Here again, we return to the structure, not the composition, for explanations. Obviously, the structure of water can be influenced by that of solids with which it's in contact. These, then, are the first well established learnings from material science, structural nano heterogeneity within liquids, and the role of epitaxy in propagating structural information without involving composition. In addition to the above, materials scientists deal extensively with other phenomena, which are certainly possible and probably major factors in the structure of water. And we'll pause right here, continue back with this wonderful reading. We're at the top of page 73, going into succussing creating high pressures and nanobubbles of the healing power of water by Masaru Emoto. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel NEVEU. Thank you so much for being here. I will return later today too, because we're going to do some healing in live. You're going to get to see the ear healing and harmonic vibrational technique. This is what we're doing for the people. We're not talking about stuff. I've been activating and learning how to cure these different diseases. So you're going to get to see insight, and I'm going to raise it on a couple of different platforms, but the YouTube is one that we will be broadcasting from. So always for the people, especially for the melanated and more vast amounts of people on this planet. You know, we will survive. Much love, highest heart love. Thank you all for reading with us. We're in chapter 2, and we'll complete out later, all right? As well as we will do some healing. We're coming. Highest heart love. Thank you so much. Much love. Peace from Israel. Yes, much love. And to Palestine. Yes. Love to Africa. All over.